about desert ecosystem, first of all, define what is desert ecosystem. So when we talk of desert ecosystem, it simply means these are barren areas of land characterized by extremely high or low temperature with low rainfall and scarcity or no vegetation. So first of all, we define the types of desert ecosystem. So the first one we have hot, dry desert ecosystem. So hot desert, these are really hot and dry conditions throughout the year. They also have low annual rainfall. Most of these kind of deserts, they are found in Central America, South Asia, North America, Africa, as well as Australia. They also have very extreme variation in temperature and soil, and the soil is rough and harsh. Another type is cold desert ecosystem. So we simply mean that they receive rain throughout the winter and less in the summer. And also these generally have chilling winter with snowfall. Summer are short, moderately hot and moist, covered with snow dunes. These kind of deserts, they are found in Greenland, Antarctica. Last type of desert ecosystem, these are coastal desert ecosystem. So Atacama Desert in Chile and the Namib Desert in Africa are examples of coastal desert ecosystem. And also these kinds of desert, they are found near the coastal lands of big water bodies like oceans and seas, and they are mostly affected by ocean currents. Winter fogs are common in these kinds of deserts. Having looked at that, we look at the characteristics of desert ecosystem. So the first one is aridity. So aridity simply implies deficiency of moisture or dryness. They also experience less rainfall, which results into aridity. Less rainfall is also another characteristic of desert ecosystem. So rainfall desert is seasonal and occurs only for a limited duration. Another thing about less rainfall is that the annual rainfall of desert receive is in every is just about 25 to 30 centimeters. Scarcity of water is also another characteristic of desert ecosystem. So, as we already know, a desert, it receives little or no rainfall at all throughout the year. So with that, there is shortage of water due to the scarcity of water, and desert face the situation of drought throughout the year. Having talked about the characteristics, we also look at the function of deserts. So the first one is production of salts. So under production of salts, it falls in form of salt and chloride. So people as well as companies collect these samples and use it to domestic and business purposes. So local, like villagers, they use local resorts just obtaining from the salt, and they do 2 to 3 things, then they use that kind of salt. Whereas companies, they will go with flavor processes. As that, they will come up with salts. The ones we buy, the diluted salt we buy in shops, the like of Annapuna's kind of salts. Another function is carbon sink. So under carbon sink, this falls under carbon dioxide is stored in sand, and after being stored, it prevents the depression of the ozone layer. So tourism is also another function of desert ecosystem, meaning to say most of the desert areas, they have flat landscape, and mostly they have soil. So these attract people. So it acts as a center of tourism attraction, because people from different countries will be willing, they usually travel to go and visit this kind of desert. Lastly is the habitat of animal as well as plants. So we have plants like baobab trees. These these kinds of plants, they survive in these kinds of deserts just because they have a huge tank which stores water. So during dry season where there is no water, these use stored water. And also animals, we have animal like Cameroon. These animals also survive in these kinds of deserts, and they are found these deserts just because they can adapt with the situation of the desert. So having looked at that, the last part we're going to look about is the structure of desert ecosystem. So desert ecosystem, we have biotic components. So under biotic components, we talked of producers, consumers, as well as decomposers. So producers, we talk of plants and trees. Consumers, we talk of primary, secondary, as well as tertiary. And decomposers, we talk of dead organism which feeds on dead matters. Abiotic simply we talk about the nutrients present in the soil and the aeration environment. So under biotic we have hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, nitrogen, as well as sulfates. Also these are supplied by the soil and air in form of carbon dioxide, hydrogen, water, phosphorus, as well as sulfate. Having said that, we have talked about desert ecosystem, we have talked about the definition, we have talked about the types, we have talked about the characteristics, as well as the function and the characteristic and the structure of desert ecosystem. Thank you for your time.